Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show, episode 141 today. Sorry for the couple week hiatus there. Just had some little vacations. Either way, I'm your host, Kellen, with me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So, yeah, we got to catch up on quite a bit of stuff. Next week, huge week with Google I/O going on. Also, HTC is going to announce a phone next week. But Tim and I finished reviewing Galaxy S8. I think it's been like 2 weeks, but I've been gone like every Friday, so we haven't been able to really do much. So, yeah, lots to catch up on. Google had a big announcement today about the future of Android updates. We want to talk about that too. Amazon has new Echo products and stuff. So, anyway, lots of big topics, not a ton of topics, just a lot of big ones. So, but let's go back to Galaxy S8. Our reviews are up. We've got video review, written review. We've done tips and tricks and 5 reasons to buy. Like, we've done every piece of coverage we would typically do for a major phone release. And so, yeah, we might as well just kind of share some final thoughts. You took on the written portion of the review. I tackled the video stuff. I think we pretty much came to the same conclusions. Don't you think? Like, everything's really great. There's a few little annoying things like the fingerprint reader, some software stuff, but otherwise, like, the display is obviously nuts. Like, just an incredible display. Camera's really good. I think we talked a little bit about your camera comparison that you did, and like, it kind of, when you look at it, like, it was a Google Pixel, G6, and S8, and all the pictures were good, and it kind of depended on the scenario, like which one was better. And you have to like nitpick to decide like which camera is better. Like, in some situations, the S8's better. Other situations, the Pixel was in G6. So, what else do we say though?
We said a lot. We had a lot to say.
Yeah, battery life. I think we both came out with pretty average. Although towards the end there, you said your S8 Plus was starting to get really, really good battery life. Is that still the case?
Still the case. Unfortunately, I have begun playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, so my battery life has now drastically gone downhill. But I mean, that's what happens when you get addicted to a game, right? So, yeah. Other than that, before I was playing Star Wars Heroes, I was easily getting, through that day with 40% battery life. I mean, and if I, if I tweaked with my display settings and all of that and wasn't playing games, I mean, I could probably get, through 2 days, just because after, once I stop reviewing the phone, essentially, I got my review up, I can sort of, just kind of use it a bit less, I guess you could say. During that review period, I'm always trying to use it for everything I can. But, right. Yeah, so the usage drops back just a little bit. So I was getting great battery life, but video games always kill it for me.
Yeah, they always kill it.
Yeah,
battery life for me, because I use the regular S8. It was it's just average. I mean, it gets you through until the evening, which is about what every phone seems to. Outside of those Snapdragon 625 phones that are like cheap mid-rangers that last 2 days, everything else kind of just, like G6, Pixel, they all die like in the evening. So that's what I was getting with the regular S8. But yeah, there's obviously so much stuff to like design wise. You hold this phone, and even when you compare it to the G6, which has a pretty crazy premium design, the S8's just on a little bit different level. Like, the way the glass curves, the way the display appears, the way it all just sort of blends together between glass and metal and stuff. Like, you look at the Galaxy S8 and it's hard not to just go, wow, that's a really cool looking piece of technology.
Sure. I mean, even the way the glass feels, there's really, in terms of just overall hardware, in-hand feel, I don't think there's anything better than the S8 right now. I mean, G6 is almost on the level, but on the S8, we're talking full glass front and back. It's just a real premium. It's just like it's the most premium Android device, and really, I don't think there's any other way to explain it.
Yeah, so like the other day, randomly, I don't know why, I think I was going through a drawer and cleaning some stuff out, and I stumbled on the Apple Watch that we bought years ago whenever the first one came out, and I picked that thing up, and the Apple Watch feels like the weight of it and the finish on it feels it feels almost like an expensive timepiece. Whereas like most of the Android Wear watches all feel a little cheaper. They don't feel that nice. But this phone reminds me of like the Apple Watch and how it compares to other Android Wear devices. Like this phone compared to other Android devices, this thing just feels that much more premium. Like this almost like softness we kind of say to the metal and the glass and the way that all blends together. There's a good weight to this phone. Like when I first handed it to my wife, I remember she was like, "This phone's really heavy," and I was like, "Well, I didn't notice that, but it is kind of heavy, but it feels like a good heavy." So yeah, design wise, Samsung just absolutely crushed it with this phone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much bad things to say. I know I was kind of, I mean, inside look for everyone, but Kellen would always kind of complain about little nitpicky stuff to me. And I was like, dude, do you hate this phone or what? Like, I feel like he nitpicks because it's his job and he's passionate about it. But at the same time, I thought it was just stuff that I was like, what, dude? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I like the little subtle TouchWiz animations or Grace UI animations and all that. Like, these little things that someone might think is jank or stutters, but I'm like, oh no, man, this is cool. Like, so I don't know. I think we kind of approach certain functionality or features of the phone a little differently. But I mean, for the most part, I don't really have any negatives about the phone. I can't really think of one right off where I was just like, no, I don't like that aspect of it. I mean, there's just really just for me not much to not like. Double negative.
Yeah, for me, it's I mean, I wrote an entire piece about just like it's a bunch of little things. For me, it's just a bunch of this is not the phone I'm using. In case you guys weren't aware, I've kind of just gone back to the regular Pixels. Although I still have this on my desk and it's charged, I do use it like when the battery life on the Pixel dies or something. I'll use this for a little bit. And it's not that I don't like this phone. It's just like these little things that drive me nuts. And like you just mentioned, it is totally me nitpicking. Like this is stuff most humans don't care about, but it's stuff that because I use a different phone all the time, I notice little things, and these like little things drive me nuts. Like, well, I've changed to a third-party launcher. Like I didn't even in that piece, I didn't even complain about the folders and stuff because I obviously just wiped that out by using Nova Launcher. Like Nova Launcher's on there, but like the fingerprint reader, the way you unlock the phone, like all those things just annoy me.
Yeah, all right, you're right. I mean, if I think of something that I dislike, I mean, sure, it's that fingerprint reader placement. Like that's a huge pain point for me, but I guess there's like workarounds for it, right? Like on the S8, I got used to kind of where the fingerprint reader was and it was working just fine for me. On the S8, it's still a pain because the phone is just larger, but if I pull the phone out, hit the power button, the phone is pretty quick about recognizing my face. I haven't been using a hat as often, so like I feel like it does pretty good at recognizing me. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like any pain point that I was having, there was a workaround for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just feel like all the workarounds are slower than the way I want to do it. And so
Sure,
that
you
pisses
might
me
be right.
off. Like I just want to like pull it out and I don't want to like go like this and look at the phone. I don't want to do that. I just want to pull it out and without even looking at it, slide my finger over the fingerprint like I do on every single other phone, including old Samsung phones. Like I just pull them out, don't have to look at it and just unlock. This one, like there's times where I feel like I have to look to make sure my finger is like on the right spots. And then, yeah, there's like the face unlock and iris stuff, but I have to like look at it like this. And so I don't know. So it's those little things. And for me, because phones are all so good, like if you get all those little, like getting into your phone, like unlocking your phone should be the simplest thing ever. It should be secure and simple. And on this phone, it's like the other thing is like this screen right here.
Yeah.
Swipe to open. Why does it do that? Like if I look at a notification, I'm like, oh, okay, I want to jump in there. Why does it take me to an extra screen that says swipe to open? I don't know what the hell that is. That's like some LG crap that they used to do. So those little things drive me insane. Now, those are not deal breakers. Like again, those annoy me. Most people probably don't care about that stuff. So I would still like recommend this phone to almost everyone. Like I wouldn't say go get a Pixel. It's like almost a year old and you probably can't buy one anyway. And like this thing, like the display and the camera and all that stuff's cool. Like just those little things.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think the one thing that any Android fan, especially Samsung fanboys, can get excited about is the potential now for the Note 8.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the Galaxy S8, definitely an incredible smartphone. And so now if Samsung can tweak, that fingerprint reader, maybe work with Synaptics to finally get that embeddable fingerprint reader technology into the front display or something, something crazy. I mean, this sort of opens the door to untold possibilities. Not to sound like a freaking weirdo, but I think the Note 8 could be something really special. If they listen to feedback, and I think everyone had feedback concerning the fingerprint reader on the S8. So
Yeah.
I think Samsung will listen and give us something pretty darn cool with the Note 8. So I'm excited about
when
it.
we see the first Note 8 leak and the fingerprint readers in this exact same spot. Like we're gonna all freak the hell out, probably.
Oh, absolutely. I think, and so let me just give the game plan here. Samsung is going to control a leak, and the first leak with the Note 8 will show the backside with the fingerprint reader there, but it's just a troll. And Samsung just
Probably.
purely trolling everybody.
That would be
And
pretty great, actually.
yeah, that's what I would do if I was in control. So
It does feel like the next step is fingerprint in there because it does have that on-screen kind of button that's pressure sensitive, which
Yeah.
makes sense for it to be. By the way, which is one of the coolest features ever on a phone is this like software glass pressurized button thing. It's just cool.
Yep.
That's one of my favorite like subtle features on the phone.
Yeah, Samsung Shield in the chat saying Kellen with his family life doesn't have time to retrain his brain. Pixel is perfect for him. I'm sort of with this guy on that one, dude.
I know, but why do I need to retrain for Samsung's terrible way of doing everything? Like that's stupid. Like just because this phone looks pretty, I need to retrain around garbage software. Like that's so stupid. That's such a terrible way to think about it.
Well, maybe it's just terrible to you because you're so used to how, say, you do it on another phone. You know what I mean? Like it's all perspective.
Tell me how this is good for anyone right there. Tell me how that's good for anyone.
See, all I do is pick up my phone and put my finger on the reader now, right? Like it's not about retraining. It's about just sort of
relearning where to reposition. Right next to the clear all button that says block notifications at. What the hell is that? Like, what does it even do?
I think it's cool for the most part because you're able to pull it down and then block particular notifications. You know what I mean? Like I get what you're saying, man. Believe me, I get what you're saying. It's just like it's a different way of doing things, and there's nothing wrong with things being different.
It's definitely the wrong way of doing a lot of things.
Sounds like bias according to Trayvon. So,
because I'm stuck in my ways. The fingerprint reader is not fine, by the way. You can never say that this fingerprint reader is fine. There's nothing good about it.
No, I totally agree. I mean, the fingerprint reader
used to like the annoying software stuff that I'm complaining about. I'm sure I could get used to for sure. I have been using the phone off and on for like 3 weeks now. The fingerprint reader, still not. 3 weeks in, still hate the thing. There's nothing good about it.
If every single tech journo, Android blogger agrees that the fingerprint reader placement is bad, then like I'm likely to assume that it's bad.
Go into most of the comment sections of any Samsung phone or a Samsung post we read up, and everyone pretty much complains about the fingerprint reader.
Rashad, I'm not trying to defend Samsung. I'm just trying to say like it's okay to have a different way of doing things, and so I think the experience is fine. I like in terms of the overall like software stuff, I really haven't had too many problems. Like I get some things are kind of nitpicky and annoying, and I agree. And I agree with that.
Yeah, my stuff's mostly just that lock screen situation unlocking because I like when you pick up your phone, that's the first thing you have to do, right? Is get into your phone. Right. So those little things annoy me. But like as far as the rest of the software goes, it's actually pretty nice. Like I still like the way Samsung's doing settings now where everything's kind of grouped together, although isn't Android going to that as well? Yeah. But like blue light filters and things like that. Like one of the things I appreciate that Samsung does is they offer features, and LG is starting to do this too, that you certainly aren't getting with stock Android. Like I've talked about this before, but you can control like the vibration intensity and you can control like every sound that goes into this and that. They have all these custom controls over display now and the color profile and all that stuff. Like I actually do appreciate all of that stuff.
Yeah, I think if the question was, do you appreciate a terribly placed fingerprint reader over Samsung kind of ditching the home button in general? Like I'm all for Samsung finally ditching the home button, that front-facing fingerprint reader and all that. So I'm great with all of that. It's just if they would have just, like every other OEM, just put it in the middle of the back where your index finger naturally goes.
I wouldn't have even written that post earlier this week that was talking about that. If the fingerprint, think about that one move, because if it was in the middle where I could just get to it, I wouldn't have any of these problems. Like all of the problems go away. Like think about that one terrible decision. And I wrote like a 1,200 word piece on how annoying the Galaxy S8 is to me at times.
Sure.
Kind of crazy. And all it would have taken was a fingerprint reader in the middle. God, that seems so silly.
It's interesting.
Otherwise, though, phone's really good.
Phone's great.
Even like the elongated tallness of it or whatever, it feels weird when you go back to like a Pixel because it feels so much squarer than this. But the regular S8 in particular, it's crazy to think still that you can have an almost 6-inch display in a phone that's only this big. Just wild.
Absolutely. I'm still a little sick of the YouTube sort of video watching experience on this phone.
Because it cuts everything.
Yeah, it cuts everything off. There's huge black bars, and if I do make it 18:9, then I cut out a portion of whatever it is I'm viewing.
Mhm.
So, once that's fixed, 3 years, 4 years from now, when everyone's shooting an 18:9, it'll be great.
Yeah, because that's what's going to have to happen, right? Is everyone's going to start. The thing is, like, we don't all shoot in 18:9, do we?
I don't
like this
personally.
18:9. I don't think it is.
No.
So it's not really that standard of a format, is it?
Not yet, but damn it, that's where we're going. So apparently
Samsung and LG are really, really hoping so.
They're just so ahead of the curve. I mean, that's innovators. It takes courage to, screw everyone in terms of content and media consumption, by cutting off whatever it is they're viewing. That's courage.
They both have headphone jacks, though.
Yes, they do.
It does have a headphone jack.
Even though they have Bluetooth 5 and still included a headphone jack. Very odd. Very odd.
Bluetooth 5, so we haven't talked a lot about Bluetooth 5 on the site because I feel like neither you and I use it, which is probably why we don't really talk. But like, people seem really excited about Bluetooth 5. You can stream to 2 headphones at once if you want.
Wow.
Get some stereo Bluetooth speaker action going on.
No, I actually use it all the time. So Samsung sent over that unbox your phone experience or whatever, and they had some Bluetooth on level headphones in there. So I've been using those, and it's like, I mean, in terms of like Bluetooth experience, it's the same thing. Although I feel like the audio can be kind of low, but I mean that's something that can be tweaked. I don't know. It's not like groundbreaking anything like.
But stereo speakers.
It's cool if you've got that set up. If you're on the bleeding edge of like that Bluetooth tech and all that, it's awesome. But I guess I'm just behind the times, right? Like I still want my wired headphones.
Speakers,
yeah.
So I still just use wired headphones as well.
Exactly. I don't know if I'll ever really kind of, because, if I got the Bluetooth headset, that's just another thing I have to charge. Like everything in my life needs charging. So if I can cut down on one thing that, doesn't need to be charged, that's more power to me.
I was a huge Jaybird, Blue Bud, whatever earphone user, but they're Bluetooth. And so they die like mid-workout or something, and then you're pissed. And so I just have quit wearing them while working out. So I'm with you. I'm sick of charging everything in life.
Yeah, a real quick update. Hey, Tim, the ZenWatch 3 Kickstarter for custom bands made its goal in 12 hours. Hell yeah. Power to the people, dude. That's awesome. I saw a few comments on that post saying like, oh, I'm never going to back a Kickstarter campaign, blah, blah, blah. Steel Connect, the people who are sort of behind this campaign, they've done successful campaigns before, and they were only looking for like $5,000. And honestly, I don't even think they needed to do the Kickstarter. It's really just more of like a pre-order, sort of like an Indiegogo type thing. I think they were going to make it, they just wanted to sort of gauge user interest. So it's a totally safe thing to back. I can pretty much guarantee that they will release these adapters. So if you have a ZenWatch 3 and want to change your bands, which is something you can't do because they're proprietary setup, then go ahead and check that out. Steel Connect, ZenWatch 3. We wrote up a post on it yesterday. Thank you.
So I just had a thought. Oh, I was going to say Bigsby on this thing.
What the hell?
We talked a little bit about it in our review, but Bigsby is one of those things that's hard to really have much of an opinion on because it's not even fully featured yet, right?
Totally.
So Bigsby, I don't use it other than when I accidentally press the stupid Bigsby button. But it's got like its Google Now wannabe thing, which I just use Google Now. The Bigsby Vision. Have you used Bigsby Vision to shop for anything yet? Just curious.
I not to literally shop for something, but just to show it off to my friend, like, hey, look what I can do. And then they're like, oh, that's cool. And then we stop talking about it.
Use it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't actually bought something.
No, I haven't either. The couple things I tried to scan, it was like, that's a shoe. And I was like, well, which specific shoe? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, But the voice stuff is supposed to be coming. Korea got the voice stuff already, right? And we're just waiting for it.
We're waiting.
Yeah, maybe it'll be
Waiting.
awesome once the voice stuff comes.
No.
I don't think so, but maybe. Although I could see like you're in the kitchen, you need hands free, and you don't own a Google Home or something, and you want to talk to it, then you could actually go through and tell it to do things. But so that's still coming. So I don't know that you and I have much of an opinion on Bigsby. It's not even like fully featured. I can't necessarily sit here and trash on it. Do I need it in my life? I don't really think so, but I don't even have like a full opinion because it's not even fully working.
Yeah, exactly. I can't have a negative or a positive opinion on it yet because it's just not ready. I mean, it's half baked, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's just not much to say. Right. Once voice is enabled for US users, we'll definitely revisit it and probably do a video and all that good stuff. But until then, point your camera at something and look it up on Amazon. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, I can just look at something with my own eyes and do that with my fingers on the keyboard.
Can't you just use the Amazon app anyway to do that?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. You can just open the Amazon app, hit the little camera, and do it. Oh, it is totally. It has like sparkly lights and everything. I forgot.
Yes, it is literally the same technology. So, like Samsung totally partnered with Amazon to build that in. So. Right.
So that's why it is only Amazon.
Exactly.
Like Staples or like Nordstrom listings aren't going to pop up. It's just him. I totally didn't realize that, but that is really ridiculous.
Yeah. So Bigsby pretty much has no unique features at this point. No. So, I mean, because you could search by image in Bigsby as well, but there's Google image search. So I don't know. I mean, whatever.
Ozo12 in the chat asks, is the voice stuff going to be carrier dependent? I'm sort of thinking yes, because Verizon didn't roll the Bigsby Vision shopping stuff out until just recently. I would imagine that the voice stuff will probably be, I bet it goes to like T-Mobile and AT&T first, and then Verizon like 3 years later gets it. We'll see. We don't know for sure, but because that already happened with Verizon, I wouldn't be shocked if that happened again.
No, Verizon, this is just a guess, obviously. Verizon wouldn't have even enabled Bigsby Vision unless that one person who tried using it noticed that it wasn't there, right? We saw, because of one reader emailed us, was like, hey, is Bigsby Vision not a thing on the Verizon? We're like, what? Of course it's there. Then it turned out not to be.
We talked about it on a show, like the day that news came out. We were like, yeah, it's there. And a bunch of people in the chat were like, yeah, it's totally there. And we're like, okay, never mind.
We just assume it's there, but yeah, it wasn't there. And then all of a sudden Verizon's like, oh yeah, we have to update it to be there. It's like, what? I thought this was all the same phone. Anyway.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah. So no one noticed that it wasn't even a thing.
No,
so
no one's using it. So
yeah, we'll see. Maybe voice is going to change everything. We'll just have to wait and find out.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things I want to play with and test for sure, because we're talking about being able to control like an entire like UI of an app. Like Google Play Music's supposed to have support for it, right? Didn't Google announce that? Yep. So you should be able to say like, find this artist, play the song, skip this track, and all that stuff, which would be awesome. So we'll see. We'll see. Either way, Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus really, really good. They're the best phones you can buy right now, and they might be until the Note 8 shows up.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me, but I think some of these companies overestimate how much people want to talk to their phone. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like,
it's
I
like
don't.
The new thing. They're always like looking for that new thing, right?
I don't know what it's like to be an iPhone user, so I don't use Siri or anything. Like maybe Apple people talk to Siri like, they talk to their mother. I have no idea. It's just I don't find myself talking to my phone all that much. Sometimes maybe I will ask it what the weather's like. Yeah. Other than that, like I'm not diving in with, hey, Google, blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't happen for me.
I don't do that often either. I think I've talked about how I do it with reminders. Like if I'm driving around, and I always think of stuff when I'm driving around, right? Yeah. And so I say, remind me when I get home to like look something up, and then I get home and it reminds me. So I do it then. Otherwise, I don't do a ton of what I check the weather.
I have set some reminders, but Google Home doesn't even do reminders. So
Google Home doesn't. So yeah, I don't even bother there. I'm actually been using.
How is that possible?
Amazon Echoes now, because Google Home doesn't do like half the stuff. Actually, we can talk about Amazon stuff later, but like I've switched to Echoes now. I'm just testing in them again for a while. And and like turning my Hue lights on and off, it happens instantly. Whereas Google Home like thinks about it and goes like, I'm turning off all these lights. And like when you do it with Echo, it just goes, all it says is okay, and then it turns them on and off. Like that's it. It doesn't say turning off light 6, 7, and 8. Like it's so annoying.
Interesting.
Google. Maybe Google will give us some new news next week about that.
Deborah was asking, do you know when for Google Play Music? I think she's asking about the Bigsby Google Play Music integration. That's all coming once Bigsby Voice is enabled in the US.
We're just waiting for that to show up. And then I don't know if that means Google has it ready to go or if then Google's going to have to issue an update, probably. I have no idea.
I just hope they have it ready to go.
Yeah, the app developers do have to get their stuff ready for it. So
yeah, I mean, Google and Samsung did announce the partnership and that was a thing. So I'm assuming once voice is enabled in the US, it's good to go. So
it should be ready. Yeah.
We'll find out.
All right. Any last thoughts then on the Galaxy S8, S8 Plus? You still love the purple version or do you wish you had like silver?
Still rocking that orchid gray. It's not purple. I don't know what you're saying.
It's totally purple.
It's purplish. But a lot of orchids are purplish, so it makes sense. It's so pretentious for these companies to name a color or something that it's not. And like orchid gray, what the hell is that?
That's why it was so funny when Google did with the pixels, like very black or whatever they call
very blue or really blue.
Yeah.
It's like, get over yourselves. It's blue or black.
It doesn't have to be a fancy sounding stupid color. Just call it purple.
Exactly.
Silver.
Unless you're Huawei, who's working directly with Pantone to like create colors for your phone.
Right.
Like,
you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah. Other than that, I really like this phone, but I always find myself in that same thing where I'm like, okay, I really like this phone, but now Pixel 2, OnePlus 5, Note 8, like there's other stuff coming, and damn it, like it's really hard.
It's really hard to be us
with this job. It's like, all right, I'm over it. Bring me on the new phone. I want that BlackBerry Key 1. I want all the stuff. I want that new HTC phone. So there's just so much good stuff coming on. I mean, 2017 so far has been a great year for Android, and I think it's only going to get better. That's the optimist in me, at least. So
yeah, I was really hyped last year on the lineup of phones. But this year should be, well, I think I said actually at the end of last year how excited I was for this year, because it was like, we're getting a redesign of the S8, which we sort of did. I mean, this isn't completely different than the S7, but in many ways it is because of the no home button and the super display and all that. But then, yeah, we've got OnePlus 5 coming. We've got a new Pixel where hopefully Google actually creates an original design. We've got a Note 8. Like, this is probably going to go down as one of those really, really insanely good years for phones.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Someone just brought up a very awesome point in the chat, Trayvon. I wonder how mad S8 users will be if Samsung gets the fingerprint reader under the screen. So I'm guessing for the Note 8, like if they move the fingerprint reader from the back to the display on the Note 8, and I'm a Galaxy S8 owner, I'm instantly pissed.
You're selling that thing, yeah.
Absolutely. You've got to upgrade to the Note 8 immediately
how big is the Note 8 going to be? Anyway, keep talking about the fingerprint reader, but
no, absolutely. So I understand where this guy's coming from, and it's a really fantastic point. So it actually leads me to believe that maybe Samsung and Synaptics will wait for the Galaxy S9 next year to maybe introduce that feature. That way it could be on the Note 9 as well. I mean,
see, I don't think they will, because I think Apple's going to do it, and they want to do it before Apple.
It's totally possible.
The Note always comes out or at least is announced a couple weeks or a week before the new iPhones. I bet they do it this time. Because isn't there reports that they tried to with this and ran out of time?
Yes, that was exactly it. But at the same time, the iPhone 8 now was reported to be pushed to next year or something like that.
God, really?
Oh yeah, big, huge things going on with the iPhone 8.
Apparently
so
I'm not paying attention enough.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. But either way, Note 8 still, you just asked, how big is the Note 8 going to be? And I think everyone is going to completely forget that Samsung tried to burn their house down. And the Note 8 is probably going to be massive, dude.
It's going to be huge. These phones are, display-wise, they're huge. Is the display going to be 6.5 inches on the Note 7? Like, what is it going to be?
I don't know.
Well, last year was 5.1, 5.5, and then the Note 7 was 5.7.
How is it not a Galaxy S8 Plus, but just with an S Pen? You know, I mean, this is basically a Note 7. So,
That is.
you know, to
Yeah,
make it any
yeah. How are they
bigger,
really going to differentiate between the notes? Is it just going to be a pen?
it's
Like, what else is different at this point?
I don't know. I don't see how it can be anything more.
They'll bring back the IR blaster or something.
Oh God, no!
It'll
Just
be something like that.
kill off the IR
They'll
blast.
put 2 headphone jacks in it or something.
We'll see. Trayvon's on the right track, though. Keep thinking like that.
So yeah, final thoughts. I think it's a really good phone. I think if you need a phone right now, go buy one. I would say the regular S8 just because it has a huge screen and it's not a huge phone. You kind of can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
I will say, you know, a lot of interesting. So we were giving away all those cases. I think that was like last week or week before, and yeah, I was able to see, you know, what case people wanted. Did they want the S8 or the S8 Plus? It gave me a good idea as to like what phone is more popular. The S8 killed the the S8 Plus killed the standard S8. Like way more people got the S8 Plus apparently.
So crazy to me because
yeah,
phone has a 5.8-inch screen and that one has 6.2. Like I guess people just want the biggest display they can possibly get.
not only that, but do they want like the huge phone, but then they want to put a case on it to make it even bigger? Like what is up with these people? What kind of pants are they using? Like these
Jinkos.
huge Jinkos and huge cargo pants. It's crazy.
Cargo pants, cargo shorts.
Yep. So good for them.
Good for them, is right. All right. So anyway, those reviews are up, both written and video. Go check all that out if you want dirty details on battery life and all of that stuff.
So dirty.
All right. Big news though today from Google, and we'll probably learn much more about this at Google I/O. But they announced this thing called Project Treble, which they think will actually speed up the Android update process with their partners. So we're talking about like the Galaxy S8 potentially getting updates much faster after it gets Android O. So Project Treble, this is funny because I don't think we've ever talked about this on air, but a few weeks ago, we had been told about Project Treble. And I don't know how many hours I spent trying to get a second source, digging through AOSP. I had another guy helping me that's really nerdy into all that stuff, digging through it as well. And we both came down to the idea. So somebody teased to us or told us that it was going to fix a major problem that everyone complains about. And so the only thing I could think of was updates, but we couldn't find the like second piece to confirm, to get that second confirmation that it was indeed going to have something to do with updates. And so we didn't go with the report. We sat on it. And today Google actually announced Project Treble and that it actually has to do with getting out faster updates. So anyway, I'm not trying to like toot our own horn there. We didn't run the story, obviously. I'm just saying we knew it was coming. We just couldn't prove the damn thing or get that second confirmation, which sucks. Maybe we're just not very good at this. But either way, it is official now. And it's huge news. So, so what Google's going to do is, well, they're going modular with Androids. I love it that everything's modular and AI, right? So if you think about apps, and a few years ago with apps, they created a system essentially that allows this is really basic overview here, allowed app developers to create apps that worked on across all versions of Android, however many devices, whatever. And so they want to do that essentially now with the actual operating system. So they're going to split it up. And they're going to create a section for the really low level stuff, which they're calling the vendor implementation, which is like Qualcomm, Sony camera sensors, Qualcomm chipsets, all that stuff that allows your phone to sort of run. So they're going to create this separate like compartment for those guys to get everything stable and ready to work in across all versions. And then Google's going to push out the Android updates that should just work by themselves instead of like pushing an update, waiting for Qualcomm to get all their stuff ready, waiting for Sony to get all their stuff ready, and then combining and then pushing and then going to the carriers and then going to whatever. They're hoping that they can sort of leap past that sort of Qualcomm stage where you get your processor ready for the next version of Android and just push updates. At least that's my sort of basic understanding of how this will work. And so it starts with Android O. So once devices get Android O, then they will sort of be on this track to be able to get faster updates. I guess I still worry that is everyone going to still push updates? Like I know this takes a big step out of it. but is like is Samsung still gonna like even if you take out that vendor stuff, like Samsung still has to get their stuff ready, right? And like then Verizon still wants to certify it. So it's like you're taking out one potential step. I just wonder how much easier it's still going to be for those other steps to pass through. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, Google has been talking about this kind of issue for years now. We had what was it, the Android Update Alliance or whatever, like years ago.
It really is. Every IO they talk about how we're making updates faster, and every year it never does.
Nothing changes.
This I do actually believe is different. I mean, when you pull out this stuff, so it makes it. So you essentially create like it's almost like its own platform for vendors to just constantly have their stuff up to date on, as far as I can tell. And then you just have Android actually separated from that. It should streamline. But like I said, I still think you're going to run into whether or not manufacturers can get their crap together. And then they still have to go through carriers in the US. So I don't think it's going to go from taking 6 months to 1 month for everyone, but maybe it's 6 months to 3 months, maybe. Hopefully.
It's totally possible. And like you said, we'll probably learn more about it at Google I/O. And that'll probably be like one of the key things we kind of focus on at I/O is learning more and everything we can about treble.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested. I mean, it's a great idea. It's a problem that we all suffer from unless you're a Pixel beta user. So
yeah. So we write up every month the new Android distribution numbers, and they just seem to be getting slower and slower to adopt the newest version. Like I think this month didn't Nougat finally hit 7% or something?
Yeah, 7.1, I think.
It's May. I mean, it's been out since what, October? We're talking like 7-8 months. It's on 7% of Android devices. That's embarrassing. Yeah. And the only reason it jumped to 7 is because I think they updated the Galaxy S7.
Yeah. And the S8 launched, right?
Yeah, that's right. And the S8 launched. Although, yeah, who knows if those numbers are quite in there yet. But yeah, like it's just... So anyways, this is another step. And Google seems pretty excited about the idea. Oh, Google's talking to me behind me. So they seem pretty excited about this. I would say more so than the stuff in the past. Like in the past when they had that alliance and stuff, and they were like, we promise we're going to just work closer with everyone. Like that didn't, they didn't obviously work close with anyone. They created the developer preview program, and obviously no one dove into that either, right? Like all these manufacturers clearly weren't doing anything with those. So that didn't help. This one, I think it takes away like a major block or pain point, but there still could be others. So we'll see. We'll see how fast it is. But we also have to remember, like, this starts with Android O. So we got to get everyone updated to O.
That's
first.
No.
And it just took Nougat, what do we say? Like 8 months, around 7%. So we'll get to O. So next May, there will be 8% of us on O. And then those guys all going forward will get updates maybe quicker. Maybe. So we're talking like 2019, 2020, everyone will maybe be getting faster updates. I'm not trying to crush like everyone's dreams in this whole idea, because this idea makes sense. It's just this stuff, like it's such a slow rollout and you got to get everyone on O. So
it's very frustrating.
It actually is really frustrating. But either way, it's we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Assuming Android's going to be around for another like decade, this might make a big difference.
Slowly but surely.
So anyway, Project Trouble. They actually in their write-up today included the actual, they called it the life of an Android release. And it's they simplified it to 5 steps, but it goes like Android release. Then the silicon manufacturing partners get it, which is the step they're trying to like remove, right? And then it goes to board support package, and then it goes to device makers like Samsung. And then it goes to phone SKUs, or maybe that just means they break it down by phone SKUs. And then it goes to carriers who test it. And then it finally gets to end. And you just like, you look at all these steps and you just go, oh God. And that's why like Apple.
Oh, they kill it.
Yeah. I mean, Apple controls everything because they're doing their own processors. So they control that. They control the operating system. It's only one phone, or, it's just their phones. Everything's already up to date. So it's not like they have some stuff running on, like lollipop and they need to go to like Android O, right? Like everything's already on whatever the newest version of iOS is. Sure, there's some stripped features out there, but they control it all. And then, they obviously work with carriers, I would assume, on some level and push updates out at the same time. But we're a long ways from that ever happening. Google would have to start creating its own processors, right? Start competing with Qualcomm for that stuff to happen.
Everything would have to be in-house, like Apple has it, in order for that, and that's just not how Android is built.
No,
right?
It wasn't built to be that way. And also, if that started happening, that would mean that like Samsung would have to use Google's processors, and they're not going to do that. At least I don't think so. So, all right. Anyway, that's Project Treble. In terms of other stuff, Google I/O.
Oh yeah,
is next week. So next week, May 17th through the 19th. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Google I/O, their big developer conference. Tim and I will both be in attendance at it. And
we're going to party hard.
Going to party so hard. So obviously the first day is a big deal because it's the opening keynote. And I think this year's is a little bit shorter because what Google's doing this year, for those of you who are planning to tune in, they're going to do an opening keynote. And let me see here. So they'll do an opening keynote, which is how long? Hour and a half? I think it's like an hour and a half. Oh, there it is. Hold on. It's like an hour and a half. And once that gets done, they take a break. And then they're going to do a developer keynote a couple hours later. So the last few years, they've done this 3-hour massive keynote because they always end it. Remember last year for sure, there was this section where they were talking like code and Chrome stuff. And everyone was like, what are you doing? Stop. This is boring. So they're splitting it up. So they're going to do all the consumer, if you want to call it that, the more exciting stuff, I guess, in the opening keynote, where they'll probably show new assistant stuff. Then maybe they'll have a big update for Allo and give us a desktop client. Maybe they have updates for home and all of that stuff. So all that stuff that we'll care about, that's not super nerdy developer stuff, will happen in that early keynote, which is next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. And then they'll take a break. And then if you want to get really nerdy, there's like a dev keynote. So just a little bit different this year, which is totally fine with me because the dev stuff, I remember last year there was like an hour of it, I think, and everyone was just going, ugh, get us out of here. Yeah. Not only that, but the people in attendance, some of them were like in the burning sun for an extra hour watching stuff they didn't really want to. But I tried to look earlier at just some of the stuff that like we might want to talk about or look at. Obviously, there's the what's new in Android they always do. So if you're going to tune in, there's some specific things you'll want to do, like what's new in Android, always one where they kind of go an overview or a little bit more detail on some of the stuff they announced at the keynote. But we were kind of told like there's lots of assistant AI stuff coming. Like I said, I think they're going to have updates for Allo. Like, remember, Allo and Duo were a big deal last year. That was like one of the big announcements. So they have to come, they have to come big with updates for those, I would think. I'm just guessing that there will be a desktop client for Allo. They might throw SMS. Like, these are the things that people are complaining about since day one. And I don't think they're just going to give up on those. So I would think those I would say they have to do something at home, right? Like they'll finally give us reminders. Like, what do you think the applause is going to be when they go, Google Home now does reminders?
Yeah. I'll be clapping.
I'll probably be clapping too. So, stuff like that. VR is going to be big. I think there's another VR keynote on day 2, I believe is when that is. So you're going to want to be sure to tune into that if VR is your thing. I didn't necessarily notice much on Android Wear on the schedule so far. So I don't know if Android Wear, now that 2.0 is like Android Wear is going to take a back seat for a little while. But I don't get the feeling there's going to be a bunch of Wear stuff, although that could change. But you have to just remember, this is a developer conference. It's not necessarily for us who want new phones and stuff. We're not going to get new Pixel phones or anything like that there.
What?
Yeah. Those days are long behind us.
No new like revamped Nexus Q or anything like that.
It'd be awesome if they brought back a new Nexus Q one day.
Or just, I mean, like, I loved that design, right? The Nexus Q is basically Google Home.
Yeah.
But it's not an air freshener. It's like,
look how long it took us to get there. It was essentially like Chromecast, because that was pre-Chromecast, right? So it was essentially a Chromecast, Google Assistant, and Google Home like all in one before those were actually things.
Yep.
And it looked cool.
It did. Awesome lights and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. They just need to bring it back now that they actually have the technology to make it great. Because remember, it was janky, and well, they never did sell the thing. That's how bad it was. But they could bring that back and have it be an actual Google Home Assistant and make it white or something, or silver. Make it look like a mirror ball, like something.
Oh, that'd be hot.
It would be awesome.
Mirror ball.
Yeah.
I guess you could just take your Google Home or something, plastic dip it, like mirror. You could paint it metallic or platinum or something.
That's true. You could. So I was scrolling through looking for there's Android Wear office hours, but
that's nothing.
Google Play Awards are back again this year. So on day 2, there will be Google Play Awards that you can tune into. They do play almost all of these live. At least all the big ones. They do stream them live, so you can kind of check out everything online if you're not going to be in attendance. But I was looking for an ATAP thing. Remember last year, the ATAP session was on the last day, and you and I couldn't actually go to the session because we had to like catch a flight and go back. But we were in our hotel room, like tidying up, trying to get out of there, and we were watching the ATAP thing, going, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" Project
Card,
yeah. That's right. Because that's right. Jocker, we got the that was when we first saw the jacket, right?
Yep.
But so far there isn't one, and Google constantly is adding to the schedule, so it does update all the time. But it's going to be kind of disappointing if there isn't an ATAP keynote or like session, because it was the coolest part I think of last year. Outside of the regular just keynote, it was pretty cool.
Well, didn't they kill their modular phone?
Well, they killed Aura, but the ATAP group should still be in existence, right?
Yeah, it was Aura that I was thinking about. So yeah, that's dead.
Yeah, so Aura's dead. Yeah, remember we got an update on that last year, and they showed us an actual phone.
And it was cool.
It's coming really soon. And then I think it was weeks later they said, no, it's dead.
That's Google has a tendency to overhype things at I/O, and then it never comes to fruition. So
this is true, yes.
OS Tech is asking about Fuchsia.
Yeah, so Fuchsia. Let's talk a little bit about Fuchsia.
Do we have to?
So this week, we could tie this into I/O, like whether or not we think Fuchsia will show up at all. So I guess you have to go back almost to a year ago when Google's Fuchsia OS was sort of first rumored, and I think it was basically just a kernel or something at the time. Either way, website called Hotfix has sort of been following the Fuchsia as it's grown, and realized like a week ago that Fuchsia is much more than just a kernel now, and is an actual OS getting built and has a UI called Armadillo. And so they put together a preview of what it would look like. And essentially what Fuchsia is, we don't really know, right? Like, I don't know that Google has come out and announced anything, although they have documentation to support a lot of what's going on with Fuchsia. But basically, Fuchsia is a third operating system from Google. It'll work on phones, computers, cross platforms and devices and things like that. So it could work everywhere. I don't necessarily know that I would call it Android. It's not Android. It's like separate from Android. It's not Chrome OS, separate from that. It's a third operating system, but it's like an in-house Google everything, like in-house kernel, in-house SDK, Vulkan graphics, based on material design in terms of the UI. Like, it's everything Google done. So like Android's not, right? Android's Java based, all that stuff, right? They use the Linux kernel. So it's like Google's own operating system where they've built every single little piece of it, which makes sense. You're Google, you could probably do that. But at this time, it's really early on. We don't really know that much about it, what they're going to use it for, if they'll ever use it. They apparently don't think it's just a pet project, and that it may be something someday. But it looks like we're so far from it becoming that it's hard for, like you and I talked about, it's hard to get excited about it right now. Like, it's like this preview of it shows this really confusing UI that you can kind of swipe up and down on to get into new cards and things like that. Doesn't seem like there was much of a way to just look through a list of apps, or it's very confusing. I would say I will direct you to the site if you want to learn more about Fuchsia, because there's a little video there you can kind of preview to watch it. I don't know. I'm not excited right now about it. It seems so early on that I don't know how this is going to work. And the other thing is, I don't think you can really like how is Google going to push something like this out? Like Android's on billions of devices, right? So how do you make Fuchsia the future when by the time it's done, Android's going to be on how many billions of devices out there? Like
Oh,
how do you just make that swap? Or how do you just all of a sudden go, well, Android's done and we're not going to develop it anymore. We're now pushing Fuchsia. I guess they could do that. And then everyone else just has to figure out something else. I'm not sure how that's going to work actually. Maybe this is Google's Tizen.
ew.
Fuchsia is Tizen.
Gross.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not really that excited about it right now. It's just not really a thing yet, right?
Right. I mean, I'm not like overly stoked on it, I guess.
No. Maybe someday we will. Obviously, someday we will, as long as it becomes some sort of reality. But I don't know. Do you think we'll hear anything about that at I/O? I'm not sure that we will. This thing seems so early.
Yeah, they're not going to name drop Fuchsia at I/O. I don't think, no.
You know what we haven't heard about in a while is Chrome OS Android merger talk stuff. Remember last year around I/O that always heats up around I/O when Google has product announcements like in the fall when they do Pixel and stuff. It always like heats up like this Chrome OS Android merger, but that's next week, and I don't remember the last time we heard a rumor about that. It seems like it's been since last year.
Yeah. It's been a while.
So I don't know if we'll get an update on that or not. I
Interesting.
feel like there hasn't been a lot of stuff leaking out. I should say yet. Although Google I/O starts Wednesday, we have a few days, but I don't feel like we know that much of what to expect other than Android O will probably get. It'll probably go into beta because right now it's developer preview only, not beta program. But I would imagine Android O, we're going to get a new preview and it'll go beta, so people can just sign up and test it rather than flashing a bunch of files. I don't know. Are we going to get a new Chromecast? Probably not.
No reason for that. No, I mean the new one, like I'm sure the 4K probably isn't even selling. So
Right,
the
because nothing
Ultra
streams in 4K yet, hardly. So
hardly. And the way it's done is just stupid, right? Like I get Netflix offers 4K stuff, and that's great, but I don't think no one should be buying $30 UHD movies from Google Play. It just seems sort of ridiculous. Go buy the Blu-ray if you want, which is cheaper, and get that digital copy too. So that Violet stuff. So,
yeah, that's one of those things that's been a little disappointing to see is that there are select titles that are in 4K you can buy on Google Play, and yeah, they want $30 or something for them. Like,
yeah,
why would I
wouldn't.
Especially when I already
don't.
own the HD version that I paid $6 for or whatever. You want to charge me like 30 for 4K? I don't even think it's worth it.
No way. Not some of the movies that are available in UHD. Like there's just no way. No way.
So yeah, I don't know what else is going to come. I don't have a gut feeling that there's a ton of really great stuff coming to I/O, but they usually surprise us. Last year was filled with all sorts of stuff. So, but I would imagine there's going to be a huge focus on Google Assistant and probably Google getting that into as many things as possible. So we have Home and all of that, but I'd imagine it's going to be everywhere. Like they'll open up an API or something if they haven't already, or did they just do that? Anyway, Assistant will be everywhere, I think.
I could also see them doing some type of like little kind of like NVIDIA Spot like little devices. You just plug in to your outlets around the house and they all tie into Home. Awesome. That would be awesome. As long as
NVIDIA is sure dragging their ass on it.
Oh God, NVIDIA. I hate you right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I want a Spot in like every room.
Exactly.
And NVIDIA, where are you? We saw that at CES. It's been 5 months.
Yep. We saw one of like the 5 in existence. We saw one of the prototypes.
Month. Haven't we asked them 2 or 3 times and they're like, nothing to tell you?
Yeah, I mean, now they just say later this year. Like, so I'm just assuming holiday. Yeah. It's got to be like holidays. Because if they would say this summer, what we do know is that Google Assistant will come first for Shield TV and then followed by Spot.
That's what we'll get an announcement for then at I/O. It'll be that
Assistant for Android TV.
Yeah, Android TV is finally get Assistant. Yep.
All right. Well, we just figured it out. Exclusive.
I forgot about that because that's another thing that was at CES and everyone's dragging on. So that'll happen.
And I can guarantee they will make a joke about releasing a new app, like a new chat app, as OS Tech just mentioned. Like, hey, we have a new messaging app. No one's gonna laugh. Everyone's gonna start throwing tomatoes.
It would be hilarious. They actually should do that. Like
I would.
create this, like set up this presentation for their new chat app and just listen to the groans across and they go, just kidding. Just giving Allo some updates. Like if they announce an app that has like a new one that has a desktop client,
Oh, that'd be
SMS and sticker packs and stuff.
Sticker packs. I will say that Allo update with these personalized sticker packs built by the NeuroNet, legit. I mean, it hasn't hit my phone yet, but it sounds legit.
It would be legit if I had someone to talk to in Allo, that's for sure.
Exactly. Make those sticker packs usable in Hangouts, and then we're in business.
Rashad mentions Andy Rubin will make a special appearance and announce his new Essential phone.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
That would be kind of cool, actually. Like Andy Rubin comes out and goes, "Here you go." Although I don't know why he would do that.
He wouldn't. I mean, if Andy Rubin just got on stage for any reason, the whole place would erupt because they think he's like the godfather of it all. And like, don't get me
He kind of is. But
no, exactly. But like, I love
I know
Andy Rubin. But yeah, exactly. They would just drop their pants. It's ridiculous. Andy. Shout out to Andy.
Shout out to Andy Rubes. When is he dropping this phone? He gave us that one little teaser, and didn't he say coming soon or I can't wait to show you more very soon?
Can't wait to give you a peek at what I'm working on. He's such a hype beast.
Such a hype beast. I'm looking now because I feel like that was a while ago. It was in March.
It wasn't that long. Yeah.
2 months ago, yeah.
Late March, right?
Yeah, late March, I guess.
Yeah, month and a half.
Ago. Said really excited about how the shipping up year. Oh, I thought for some reason he said soon, but he didn't say soon.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think Andy Rubin's coming out, although that would be cool.
I don't know what the point of Essence is going to be.
Essential,
excuse me.
Just another phone manufacturer.
Stupid. There's too many. Like,
we need some to go away before some can enter, I feel like.
Yeah, and like no offense to the ones that need to go away, but I think it is a little crowded, so maybe like, Nextbit with the Robin and all that, maybe just sell your cloud storage stuff and just sort of, bow out and say thank you. I mean, we know how many people own the Robin, and it's not that many.
No.
Right? We at least know how many people got one from the Kickstarter, which was just like 3,000 people.
Yeah, it was like 3,000 or something.
So, and it couldn't have been that many people who bought one on Amazon after it launched. So, I mean, let's be real here. Like, so we know the Razer bought them, and I think that was the play, right? To come in, give a proof of concept with that cloud storage, and then get bought.
So what's Essential going to do? I can't imagine Andy Rubin wants to create a hardware company because that's what he's doing, right? This is a hardware. Right. Obviously, they'll probably work on some special software stuff because that's also what he does. But it doesn't seem like he would create a hardware and software company to just sell it again. But maybe
there's got to be another angle.
Who buys these things? Maybe he's just going to try to take over. It's a really hard market, obviously, to break into at this point. It's so mature, and Samsung and Apple still just dominate it, but.
Yeah.
Maybe it needs a new player. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. Good luck.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right.
I'd buy it
at I.O. So Tim and I will be at I.O. all week. We'll be traveling Tuesdays. If stories are a little slow on Tuesday, that's why we're traveling.
Yeah, give us a break.
But we'll be down there. If anyone's going to I.O., feel free to hit us up.
Oh, absolutely.
On the tweets.
Let
us know.
At Timotato, at I am Kelix.
That's right. All right. HTC next week announcing a new phone and rumored to be called the HTC U11. And yeah, what is that? Monday night or Tuesday night? The timing is so confusing. I think it's
Tuesday morning, right? Like
Tuesday morning in Taiwan. But it's like, but I think it's Monday night on the West Coast.
Yeah, Monday night at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, well, I think 2 a.m. Eastern.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, 2 a.m. Eastern on the 16th, and I think...
Can't do it.
Monday, 11 p.m. on the 15th or something like that. Because, yeah, they're hosting an event in Taiwan. So,
I gotta travel the next day. Gotta sleep. Sorry.
Yeah. So, we'll have coverage of the phone, in case you guys are wondering. But, yeah, next right before I/O. They're basically kicking that off.
Yep. What was that submarine movie? Was that U571 or something like
Yeah.
that? This U11, it just keeps reminding me of submarines and that
Submarine.
movie that I love so much.
We'll just call it the submarine phone.
Yeah, I like that.
HTC subby.
I think Matthew McConaughey was in that.
I think he was actually, yeah.
Awesome actor. Probably the best. Someone did ask us about EdgeSense in the Q&A, and we answered, and I want it to be cool. I remember when we first started talking about the possibility of this, and that was last year when that HTC designer accidentally posted these phones on their website, and they subsequently, I'm sure, got poop canned.
That is kind of crazy to think now that happened, and they were like, no, this is just concept stuff, and it's pretty obvious now that weren't just concept.
No, that was it. So I'm actually pretty interested in the whole squeezy thing. We'll see. I mean, we're gonna find out here in a couple of days. So, but yeah, I'm interested in it.
Yeah,
I'm definitely not a hater as long as it's smaller than the U Ultra, right? Like I could never wrap my head around the U Ultra because it had fatty bezel, secondary ticker display that I don't want. Like this is not the V20. Yeah, and a tiny battery. It's just
headphone jack.
No headphone jack. It had so many negatives and not enough positives for me to even get hyped about it. It looked gorgeous. So if you give me a smaller U Ultra with no secondary ticker and maybe a headphone jack, I'd buy into it, but it probably won't have
design-wise pretty phone, like with their cool liquid metally back stuff that they got going on.
I totally agree.
So yeah, that's Monday night, Tuesday morning.
Does anyone care? That's more important. Anyone in the chat who potentially cares about HTC? Yeah, haven't seen it come in a bit.
Guys,
so, yeah, if you're interested in HTC, please let us know, so we know how to schedule ourselves in terms of coverage.
Yes, for sure. All right, so in other new hardware news, well, I'll make this quick, but Verizon finally released their Wear 24 Android Wear watch.
Yes.
And it's available. You can buy it now. I think it's online only. It costs $299 on contract, $350 without a contract. But either way, like you and I were messing with it in a cart, like on Verizon's website. And it certainly seems like even if you buy it off contract, you have to like sign up a line and pay for a monthly service. I'm sure you could do it 1 month and just cancel it if you wanted to, but it looks like you have to do that. But what I wanted to touch on is there's been massive confusion around if it has NFC and does Android Pay and all of that stuff. So we were told the day it was announced, which has been like a couple months, that it was going to come equipped with NFC and Android Pay. And so we were pretty hyped on it. We're like, yeah, it's a nice looking watch, not too crazy expensive, whatever. And then the NFC stuff slowly faded away, and we checked with Verizon like 10 times, and they did get back to us officially. Like corporate rep told us it has NFC, but it doesn't do Android Pay.
So why
does it have NFC? I do not know why it has NFC if it doesn't have Android Pay. So just keep that in mind. It has an NFC chip. It just doesn't do Android Pay. Maybe it will someday. Maybe Verizon just didn't get it certified or something for it, and they need to.
Or Verizon is user hostile.
Maybe Verizon come out with their own payment service. They just want to block Android Pay or something.
Net neutrality.
Yeah. So anyways, it's available, and it has NFC, but it doesn't do Android Pay. Hopefully
so when this watch was first announced, you mentioned that this was the best watch announced out of like the watch sport, watch style. How do you feel about that?
Well, now with no Android Pay, like that was part of the deal, right? Because it had everything. It had a nice design, I think, minimal design that kind of has a dressier style, but it also had LTE connectivity if you wanted that, but it wasn't a giant tank like the Watch Sport. Came with Android Wear 2.0, had a heart rate monitor. The specs are actually pretty decent. And then we thought it had Android Pay. So it has GPS also. So it has every single feature that you need in one, except it wasn't a ginormous beast like the Watch Sport. But now that we're told it doesn't do Android Pay payments, that's, like you have to like uncheck that box. And so it still seems like a decent option, but that's not there. So And I just don't get that. But I haven't understood that with all of these watches, right? That's supposed to be one of the new features for Android Wear 2.0. And there's like 3 watches that have NFC. One of them is the $1,600 Tag Heuer. So
Yeah, what's funny is that I thought here I was, before Android Wear 2.0 really kind of kicked off, is that Android Wear was just dying. I mean, no one announced any Android Wear watches last year. It was sort of just like a dying platform. Now in 2017, every watchmaker in the world is coming out with an Android Wear 2.0 watch, and just all of them, there's something wrong with each and every single
there really
one.
is. Yeah.
And point one out to me. I'll tell you what's wrong with it, because I've been covering them all, and that's what's wrong. I think with Android Wear, right? There just isn't that watch that kind of just has everything you want. The first iterations of these watches, Moto 360, Huawei watch, OG watch, these were great timepieces. They were kind of classy. There was something for everyone in terms of styling. Now with these new ones, all of them are going towards sports, fitness. Not
except
everyone.
for this Wear 24, it's not.
Right. Not everyone can kind of dominate that space. So I don't know. It just seems like a total cluster F to me. So really hoping that someone, maybe Moto, even though it's not going to happen.
Even though they said, we're not making watches anymore.
We need someone to be like the savior, because even Google can't do it right. I mean, because the watch sport, it's way
Google
too
just
big.
needs to make their own now. When the Pixel comes out, Google better just make a Pixel watch.
Yeah.
That's what's going to have to happen. They're just going to have to create a Pixel watch.
Mont Blanc is the only person or the only company who has like a good looking Android Wear timepiece right now, but it's $800.
$800. And no NFC.
No NFC, no GPS. So it's missing something.
I don't even know if it has a heart rate monitor either, but
I don't think it does. I looked, on the back. I don't think it does. So I don't know what the hell is going on with Android Wear. If you ask me if wearables are dying, I would say yes, absolutely. Because no company can seem to get it right now.
No, they can't. All right. So in other news, Amazon. It's actually sort of big, but big Echo news. So Amazon announced the Echo Show.
Okay.
And it is a giant tablet speaker box that you would set on your desk, a counter, a bookshelf, maybe. No, because then you wouldn't have access to it.
It's a docked tablet, so put it on your nightstand or on your kitchen counter.
Nightstand, kitchen counter, or your desk or something. But yeah, so the Echo Show, it's been rumored for months and months that they were coming out with a touchscreen tablet version of an Echo. So you can ask Alexa all the stuff you want. I was going to hit the mute button there. So you can ask all the stuff you want. It'll help you out, but you also get a screen so you can see the weather, see your calendar, watch movies, whatever, talk to it, and have all that stuff happen. So it's now official, and it's cost $230 pre-order, and it ships end of June, like the 28th. And if you order 2 of them right now, they'll knock off $100.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I they look really cheesy. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know how they would fit in. For me personally, I'm like in my lab, I guess like I put one on the desk right here so I could like reach over and touch it. Because with the touchscreen, you kind of want to have it in reach, right? Yeah. So like you said, kitchen counter would make sense, but it's kind of big. Like it has kind of a big base. I don't know that it's that mobile. I don't know that you want to pick it up and move it a lot.
I don't think so.
Like you said, nightstand would be nice, but then you're only using it in the morning or at night. Like you're not using it all during the day then, right? It's in your bedroom. So a kind of a weird product. Like I think it makes sense, but I'm also trying to figure out how this would really work anywhere. We talked a little bit about, or earlier in the week, there was, I don't want to say controversy, but there's this company called Nucleus that is a Amazon-backed company that sold a similar product to this, where it integrated Amazon's Alexa, and it was like a tablet that you could mount on your wall that had a camera, intercom system for your house. Plus you could call other households. Really cool product. And you could take it with you because there's a tablet and it had like a fold out stand. That product makes sense. This big lug, I don't know, doesn't really make a lot of, like the design, I think, is what's so weird.
Yeah. A lot of products sometimes, many times are made to kind of solve a problem. The Amazon Show is not that. What they're doing, I think, really they're going to push that calling, messaging feature with it and stuff, which is cool. Like, I guess it could just become your home phone, which is kind of dope. But Other than that, like
But the
I
thing is,
already
again,
have
it's
something
not
for that.
mobile, right? Like if you're at home and you're
Right.
talking on the phone, how often are you like walking around your house or moving around? If you're video chatting, you can like move
It
around. Like with this thing,
makes
you
sense.
can't. It's just like stuck.
Yeah.
And that Nucleus product that is mad because Amazon, they think basically jacked their idea. Like at least theirs was a tablet. You could like move it, mount it, put it on a stand, whatever. So,
Yeah.
but you're right. I bet you Amazon is hoping this becomes the future of calling.
It could be. I mean, really, it is sort of like your central hub for the
Mhm.
home, and it makes sense. But yeah, like Deborah in the chat is saying, it's ugly. I'd go
It's
so far as
ugly.
to say it's fugly.
Well, and they won't
I don't
give
think
us really good angles. Like the only
right.
pictures are like at this slightly tilted angle where you can
Yeah.
kind of see that it's got a big butt on it,
Yeah.
and then this ugly speaker grill. And so no one's seen a real device, I don't think.
No, it's got a big old booty,
I think
guaranteed.
so. Um yeah, I've got one coming, so I'll eventually be able to look at it and tell you guys more about it, but yeah. But I would argue the bigger news is the calling stuff, which we just talked about, because not only does this thing do calling, and it does video calls as well, it does have a front facing camera. They pushed out Alexa calling and messaging. Oh, there it goes. They pushed out.
Shut up.
Alexa, yeah. So they pushed out voice calling and messaging to Echo units. So Echo Dot, obviously the Echo Show, the regular Echo. Isn't there another Echo? I swear there was like
Yeah.
3 of these things. What's the other one? Echo Dot, regular Echo.
There's the one that's the mirror one. It helps you with your wardrobe or whatever.
Oh yeah, I think it works on that one.
The
Yes.
Echo Look, I think is what it's called, or Alexa Look. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, you can now send voice notes or messages to other people that own these things. So I don't know a ton of people that own these, but like my brother does. So I forced him to update his Alexa app the other day and was like spamming him messages. But so you can do it through Echo units and just say like, Alexa, send a message to, I could say my brother, send him a voice message, or I could say call him, and it actually will call his Echo and he can answer it if he wants to.
That's dope.
It's super sweet. I think that's a huge feature because like just sending little voice notes here and there. But what also works is through the Alexa app on iOS and Android, you can send messages through there. You don't even have to own an Echo. You can send them through there, and you might still have to own an Echo actually, but you can send them through there and it'll ring to somebody's Echo and they can get them back and you can play them in there and all of that stuff. It's pretty sweet actually. You can type out messages too, and then Echo or Alexa will like dictate those to whoever you sent them to. So
That's pretty cool.
could be sort of a future of home to home conversations, calling messages or whatever, which is kind of cool. I think that's actually a pretty big deal. So
All this does is prove how far ahead Amazon is in terms of this whole kind of home integration stuff. I mean, Google's lagging like crazy. As someone just mentioned in the chat, Ecobee 4 is out now with Alexa integration. Like,
right.
I want that thing. So it's just ridiculous. I mean, and Ecobee doesn't even support Google Home yet. So, and I asked them, they said, "Oh, coming soon." I was like, "Okay, so never coming."
So never then, yeah.
Yeah. So I really, Alexa is just killing it. And every day I get an email like, "Oh, what's new on Alexa?" It's like they just keep pumping out stuff. And
yeah, every Friday I already got it for the day that said like, "What's new?"
Yeah,
thanks.
it's ridiculous.
Google's been adding slowly. Actually, it's sort of ramped up a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but adding support for other smart home products. Like the list of that Google Home supports now is getting pretty long. But like a lot of times we come back to the reminders thing and how with Google Home you still can't set a freaking reminder, which is stupid. But
come on.
But like I said, I've been testing Echo units again this week, and like turning off my Hue lights on, off and on. It's instant on Alexa. I just say like turn them off, and it just does. And I haven't had any issues. It's fast. It doesn't re-speak the whole command back to me like Google Home does. So and it works with all the stuff that Google Home does, plus more because it's been around for so long. Now we're going to be able to video chat if I want to. I can call and send messages to people. And it's pretty sweet. I mean, like if I'm out, say I'm not at home and I know my wife is, and I want to send her a message, I can actually just send an Echo message. Like I can pick up my phone in the Alexa app, send a message basically to myself, which would be my home echoes, and she could get that message, or I could call her without, and like if she doesn't have her phone, because she's one of those people that leaves her phone on silent all the time. So if you call her, she like never gets the message, right? But I could call her through the Echo. She'll hear that. Just cool stuff. Alexa's doing cool stuff. Amazon Alexa.
Don't worry, IO's right around the corner. Google Home's gonna be dope.
Yeah, it's so now shifting back to Google I/O. Do you think Google Home will now get a similar calling feature?
It's got to, right?
Because that's been rumored for a while that both them and Amazon were working on a similar feature, and Amazon already pushed theirs out. So
I don't know though. I mean, Google doesn't even have reminders. How could they possibly handle messaging and calling?
That's true. This is very true.
All she ever does is say, "Sorry, I can't do that yet."
It's
I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna throw you in the trash.
Well, and a couple weeks ago when they switched the shopping list thing from Google Keep to Google Express, like, what is that? I don't even know what Google Express hardly is. It's a service no one uses because it's not in most markets.
Nope.
But Google Keep we all use and have access to. That was one of those moves where you kind of went, what are you doing here, Google?
I don't know. It's very frustrating.
It is.
Can't even do reminders.
No.
Yeah.
Still
I'll just harp on that, man. Every day I ask it to set a reminder, just hoping that it'll do it. But
that one day it'll go, sure, Tim, and you're gonna go, wait, what? What?
It worked.
It worked.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, yeah. It will be. All right. So yeah, Amazon Show comes out. Well, you can pre-order it now. Comes out end of June.
Kellen's got one on order, so he'll let you know. Trust me.
Yeah, it'll probably suck. I'll probably go, it's so great, and then I won't use it again like a week later. Once because I'll have no one to talk to on it because no one else will buy one.
Yeah.
No. That's the other thing is, you have to, somebody has to have another show in order to be able to video chat. It's not like it connects through anything else.
Well, if you got that 2-pack
app, it might work through the Alexa app. We'll have to figure that out when it comes out. Like if they update it to support video chatting through the Alexa app. If it does, that could be huge.
That's why that 2-pack when $100 off is so crucial. You get one, then you can gift it to someone else so you can actually use the damn thing.
Send one to grandpa. Yeah. All right. I think last topic probably. Oh, we've been going for a while. We did an updated headphone jack poll because we hadn't done one of these in a while, which is sort of surprising.
It's been a bit. This particular question.
Yeah. So, well, this particular question is a little updated, but how many years ago was it? It was
5 years.
5 years. We asked people if they wanted the headphone jack on the top or the bottom because I've always argued that it should be on the bottom, right?
Which is wrong.
Very passionate about this.
Yeah, belongs on the top, but that's okay.
That's just insane. That's insane.
It's just insane.
That's like saying the fingerprint reader belongs where it does on the Galaxy.
No, because like I pull it out and it's just like it's in my hand, like it's not. If I pull it out from the bottom, I've got to flip it over. And for me,
you have to flip your phone over anyway to look at it. I don't know what that means.
Hey man, I don't know. I think it belongs on top. That's all right. More people seem to agree with me, if I'm not mistaken, from results of the poll.
I don't know about that.
I'd have to look.
Yeah, because you're losing that battle right now.
Damn. What about courage? Anyway, so yeah, we did update this question, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so 5 years ago, we asked top or bottom, and it was 52% said top and 48% said bottom. So this year, Tim asked headphone jack on the top, bottom, or would you go with courage? Which, in case you don't know, that just means no headphone jack at all. And bottom at 51%, and then top at 39%, and then 10% just went with courage.
I'm telling you,
shocking.
Yeah, so courage is what screwed me, right? Because I think in 5 years ago when we asked this, I'm pretty sure top won. But now with courage, everyone's getting courageous, and that's what screwed it. Because you take those courage votes, put them on top.
Behind.
That's right. I mean, I could make some. I can make some type of 2016 election reference here, but there's no point. Like top lost, so doesn't matter.
This is the only thing that I should say. This is the thing that really drives me nuts. If the headphone jack is on top,
and
it's right here, then I have to and I'm holding the phone. I have to curl the thing behind, and it goes behind my hand.
That's a good
when
point.
You move it around, it's always kind of in the way. That's what drives me nuts. If it's on the bottom, it just shoots out the bottom, and it's not in the way anymore.
Yeah.
The only thing, like, depending on your car setup, like some people plug things into their car, like you kind of want some stuff. I don't know. But for me, it's just because when I hold it, if it's up top, the cord like drags all over the place. It's in front, it's behind, and that drives me insane.
What was that phone?
I also
maybe
put
there
my
wasn't
phone
one.
in my pocket, top down. That's how I
Yeah.
put my phone in my pocket.
I remember I was thinking about what phone had the headphone jack on the side. I don't think it, but the OG Droid had the charging on the side.
Yeah. I don't know that
was-
anyone's had headphone jacks on the side, but yeah, we
Yeah.
used to have charging ports on the side. I think HTC had a couple phones on the side too, but Motorola definitely had a bunch because they were trying to come up with docks and stuff like that.
God, yeah, good times back in the day.
Good times.
Either
and
way,
the picture we used in this post was the HTC One X, which had it on the top.
yes, it did.
And it had that nipple camera. Look
Oh,
at that thing.
Nip Cam.
Yeah.
Nip Cam was great. That's a great design. Still one of my favorite phones to hold. It just felt great.
I wish somebody would go. I know everyone says plastic feels cheap and blah,
Not
blah,
that
blah.
stuff.
But that stuff, yeah, HTC's plastics they were using were not. They felt great. And they were light.
I forget what they
probably
called it.
durable.
It was like a poly.
It's like a polycarbonate something. I don't know.
Yeah, for
Poly something.
poly something.
It was nice though.
It was super smooth.
I think that phone had a 4.3-inch display, and everyone's like, "It's huge."
It's
No, maybe
too
no, it's
big.
4.7, I think, and
Oh,
everyone's
yeah.
like, "It's huge."
It's a tank.
Nice phone though. All right, you got anything else you want to talk about?
Bye bye Rockets. Sucks to suck. Sorry, Harden with 10 points, only 2 made from the field. Bro is not the MVP. Westbrook all day long. Thank you.
Cool. I just give it to Kawhi. Hell with
What?
both of those guys.
No, Kawhi obviously not MVP because Spurs beat the Rockets at their home with no Kawhi. So how could Kawhi possibly be MVP?
I don't know. So then none of them should win. Give it to LeBron. He probably deserves it every year anyway.
Swaggy P is my vote. What would the Lakers be? What would they be without Swaggy P? So, or Damian on the Blazers, man. Like Blazers would have lost everything but 5 games without Lillard. So
Blazers would have been Lakers bad without Lillard for sure.
yeah, I just don't
100%.
understand the way people vote for MVP, right? Like I get it, the team needs to have at least like a winning record possibly, but there's just something about how one player can take like the worst team in the league to being actually not a contender by any means, but you know, to the playoffs. And that's what Lillard does every season. So
Yeah, pretty much.
anyway,
No love up here in the Northwest.
yeah, sorry I had to get that out, Trayvon. Anything else? I don't know if we're gonna have a show next week because we'll be flying back on Friday from IO.
Yeah, unless we find like some hotel time and
Yeah.
film a show or something, but it could be tough. But we'll probably try to do like a special show, like maybe that Monday following or something, because there's obviously gonna be a ton of stuff to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. But next Friday, the new Alien Covenant movie comes out. Hashtag sponsored, hashtag ad. You got to go watch that movie. I'm so stoked for it. Hashtag
Good
not sponsored.
reviews, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, so far, so good. Better than Prometheus, I hear. So that's fine.
Everything's better than Prometheus.
I hated that movie the first time I watched it, but every subsequent time I watch it, it's not that bad. So
It's one of those movies I don't hate, but I
definitely don't enjoy
I get
it.
why people
Yeah.
have issues with Prometheus.
This is an actual alien movie.
Yeah.
Like xenomorph. So
True, man, it's not. No one says it's horrible. Everyone says it's amazing. You can't say that.
heard it's horrible. Get out of here. Get out of my chat.
Get out of here.
Anyway, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I hope everyone has a fantastic and safe weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't drink and drive.
No, be safe out there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for joining us after a couple weeks off. Enjoy the show, episode 141.
Peace.